Chapter 1: An Evolving Planet. The times and the ages of a war on living lands turned to fire and smoke. In the beginning, all entities, beings, and living systems lived in calmness. The rising sun that continued falling to the horizon each day, all was harmonized in a sequence of repeating events. The sun rising and falling was assured, a gift that it would rise and fall just as it did the day before. The light of day became a consistent presence, existing with predictability. Assured darkness would follow, however. Even the darkness of the night held light with shimmering stars shining bright. The world held no fear, the word not known in any form, the emotion not felt in any stream. The only darkness known was shaded by light, and any darkness existing was always seeking light. For even dark entities were filled with the burning balls of light. The darkness was nothing but the absence of light. No darkness was alone. No source of light was ever void of darkness. The light provided warmth of love, a natural cohesion like salt and water. Where there was one, there was always the other. The day has infinite spaces for darkness to exist. Light giving shade. There are as many spaces for darkness to exist on the planet as there are stars in the midnight sky. None of these dark spaces shared any commonality with what was about to emerge, a lonely soul left to fester, leading to the eventuality of the metamorphosis of a lost element into the great beast, an evil spawned from loneliness. A sickened soul turned darkness into an emotion, the emotion of fear. The fear caused anxious quakes within the very core of the planetoid planet, felt by all the life that inhabits it. The darkness, a humongous colossal dragonite beast known as addiction. Addiction is just one of the first of these living entities. Other entities find evolution in the rising growth of living life. As we take a view from high above these lands, we see all to be described in blinded detail, to draw from your imagination a picture of your own desire and creation. Hold your eyes closed and see all the lands in your own description, a place you see in this space behind your eyelids, seeing without sight, something from nothing but darkness, come feeling, the sense of belonging. Such as the words on this page, we lay out the path for you to travel, a place created in an imagination, a place that is consciously and consistently evolving with the words you read as you describe it. The living winds that move the seedlings and make the waves that create forestation. Life in light that touches every surface, energy feeding the growing expansion of living green energy. Life living, consciously evolving, however, it was not only light that was growing life, for within the darkness spawned life. The creeping shadows hiding, these rich deep black forces move in the darkness of the night, hidden in unseen places, harmless until disturbed. They hold no consistent form, come from imagination into living entities. They would also evolve into conscious physical beings, the lands hiding powers of dimensions, systems to realms with other living entities, fields of tall, limitless DMT's trees, a form of walking willows, flower seed poppy fields known as sleepy hollows, Buddy and Mary Yens, the dancing weeds, methanoid crystal coves, caves of enriched minerals that breathe magic energies, magnetic centers of mysterious forces, the intensifier fountain and waters of light, mushroom trip vacuum valley, the wandering dances of cocoa, the smoky meadows, grand seed meadows, all places we view passing by high above, passing like a cloud in the sky. We see the beautiful and mystical place of our imagination. All it beautiful emerged from dirts and soils, land erupt from waters, new spaces for all the stories that are about to happen. These lands in evolution, a growing mass. A few thousands of years put into a few simple words, passing in moments to prevent you, the reader, from becoming tired in participating in the stories to come. We see, as all 4 seasons, passing thousands of years in a short time, a shortcut, fast forward, as for all the time taken to describe what you see now, is years itself to define. Why do this when you, the reader, now see everything as it is meant to be? Chapter 2. All things happen for a reason. Reason cannot be compromised. After all attempts of compromise, it will still be unpredictable when it occurs. When change happens, it cannot be undone. All things change even without movement with the passing of the sun. Each movement passes into a change. Things change simply by existing. Existing by the revolving sun, change is inevitable. There is no compromise, no reason, no remorse. Change is in existence, a natural force that happens with reason unknowingly affecting all. Change became an entity known as time. Time, an unseen force affecting everything with inevitable change. On one of the days that was like all other days, the change would take place. A small ball of wind is querulously wandering the land's surfaces, dazzling in delight to be exploring new and unknown places. Traveling alone, the wind pops up with happiness, bouncing around with glee, jumping off the ground to be high in the sunlit sky. No fears in freedom, flying between the DMT trees, valleys, rocky mountains, and grassy hills, ducking and weaving through the dense forest. The small ball of wind feeling impervious to harm, nothing is a barrier, as after any separation, instant reformation, nothing to interrupt the wind's gliding, popping path. The ball of wind was happy dancing in sunlight, until on a day like all other days, there became a time when the bouncing ball of wind got lost deep inside a cave. The wind now lost and alone, desperately searching for an exit in absolute darkness. The jagged, thickened stone walls are the only guidance along the rocky, rough pathway. The wind floats into various open caverns, searching for an exit. Stumbling into yet another large cavern, the wind finds this cavern is lit with a pulsating green light of hundreds of thousands of glowworms. They light up the entire roof of the humongous cavern. The wind feels a sense of relief in realizing it is no longer alone. The wind swirls up to the roof of the tall cavern, sweeping the glowworms up, collecting all that could be carried. The wind gathers up all the glowworms possible, holding them close for company. Carried through the darkness, traveling together within the caves and caverns' depths, keeping the worms close, held in the center area of the wind swirling around. The glowworms not only provided company and warmth, but also the pulsating green of emanating light from the glowworms illuminates the path ahead. The wind, well hidden away from the warmth of the sun, finds the glowworm's warmth was not enough. Lost and lonely, the wind begins picking up the dust and gathering all the loose stones, rocks, and holders for warmth. The wind begins to cover itself in a thick layer of all rubble that was available, containing the heat of throbbing, beating glowworms inside. With all the new weight, the once light bouncing ball of wind becomes heavy. The wind faces gravity for the first time, grounded and unable to see through the abundant rubble. The slug-like collection of the mass sloths throughout the caves, slowly moving about the caves, now looking more alike to the glowworms deep inside. Days and nights pass by the thousands. The passing of time unknown to the wind had become a blinded pile of slow-moving rock. Over time, the pile of slowly moving rock changes to large, jagged stone. The mass, hard and slowly moving forward, eventually finds the inner mountain's water system. The pile of rock draws up the moisture from the stream. With this lubricant and feast of minerals, over time the mass grew strength to move about. With newfound energy, the once slow-moving mass of jagged stone moves with a sliver and has begun to change again, gaining more strength, more power, when finding the dormant volcano's hot lava bed. The stream of burning minerals gives off visions of life outside such jagged walls of rock and stone. The sluggish rocky stone slips into the river of lava. The heat soaks into each rocky edge and jagged stone. The lava lubricates each particle of a changing entity. Under the lava, a change begins, grinding each rock into a pebble, each stone grounded down into a finer powder as it forms and evolves. Rising from the hot lava river and flopping down onto a rocky ledge, lava dribbling off a newly forming beast. Unable to see, eyes begin to grow and form. The two holes glow with green from worms that concentrate their glowing green light through crystal clear lenses. The green light illuminating the darkness with two beaming streams of bright light. The light magnified by the collected clear crystals within the face of a former being of stones and rock. Creating eyes to see gave a glimpse to a reflection of the soul that hides deep inside a beating heart of emanating green wriggling worms. The rocks and stone that once covered this self-created beast are now cooling scales, a strong coating of protection layered over layer. Each connecting particle a shield as thick as the next scale that covers the beast with 1,000,000 walls, as solid as the walls in which it dwelled for so many years. The walls that cover this beast move like a flower floating down a slithering river. Like the water, the beast was now smooth to the touch. The coating curving with smooth roundness, with no cracks or protrusions. Once the beast emerged from the lava, it did so as a solid mass of stone, yet smooth. The beast is nimble, flexible, impenetrable, forming a body, a head, a tail, what we know as a serpent today. The first beast with a covering came to be called flesh. Back then, the language had not been born, so to describe something coming into being without any words of reference is a difficult task. So when this beast became conscious of its own existence, so did all the words of language to describe it. As the passing of the times came and went, passing into the greater divine, its consciousness also gave birth to an ability to record the stories occurring over time and traveling through bloodlines. The slithering, sliding, whipping beast feels the freedom of movement, an almost forgotten emotion of what once was the bouncing ball of wind. The beast no longer defeated by the restrictions of jagged rocks and the unforgiving coldness of stone. Fed by the minerals of lava filled with the moisture of the mountain's waters, the beast grows strength, continuing to evolve. From within the cave's dwellings, all that remains is hail to join the beast evolving. All the bones of lost animals, dead and alive, dragged with clumps of dead red moss, everything that was possible gathered heading towards the beast. A silent call to all available materials, crawling towards the beast with the power of wind. The materials flow through the caves. A change begins to happen, with all being broken down into particles, reforming, recreating into a new matter that resembles leather. The newly formed substance joins the beast in its formation, sliding from its tail up and over its back. At first, long roots like fingers sprout. Larger than the body, they are huge in sight, but light in weight. The beast grows a feather-tipped tail, the leather skin spreading over and in between each elongated finger. The redness of the dead red moss stains the flesh. Each appendix as it is meant to be, the leather-covered arms begin to flap, catching the air below. For the first time in a long time, gravity is lifted. The only punishment is the walls of jagged stone that hold the beast. The beast now longs for that emotion of weightlessness as it begins to reminisce in its first flight. Reminiscing of the freedom to pass between the trees, the beast no longer wanting to be a slave to the mountain's lava and waters. No more being held captive by this jagged maze of endless stone walls. With the outside world awaiting to be seen, to know it still exists. For after so long it has missed the beams of the abundant light, so with all its strength, the beast begins to pound on the roof of the mountain. Boom, thud, 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 boom, thud, 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 boom. With its might, the beast begins to fight the walls that hold it captive. Boom, thud, smash, crash, boom. A sliver of light begins to appear through an opening crack. Harder the beast tries. Boom, thud, 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 boom, thud, boom, then freedom. The beast cries out with the glory of freedom, breaking free of the mountain, finally. Behind, underneath, and from all around, the once dormant volcano exploded with an almighty eruption. A consequence from the beast emerging from its former dwelling was the spewing of boiling rocks and heated magma of cooling stone to the far beyond, and all surroundings from the violent eruption. Heated shrapnel of an exploding mountain pelted into the skies and covering the grounds. When the beast burst out from darkness beneath the mountains, all surroundings moved in an avalanche of materials. The very mountain from which it came crumbles into rubble. The eruption is so violent the ground shakes with every falling boulder. Some are bigger than the surrounding trees and wider than river streams. The blasting force laying waste to a place of lush growth, now left as a pile of dust, just as the beast once was. Chapter 3. An event that dramatically changed all coming days. A day that had to be named as the eruption, and the deviation that followed was felt by all the abundant life. All that had evolved while the beast lay dormant and hidden away. In its absence, a new world had taken form. The world of an interconnected, communication living ecosystem. This living ecosystem lost a part of itself on this day, as the pain was felt across the planet. The dangers of more damage had awoken a deeper consciousness of the planet itself, a force that warned of the oncoming danger. With powered investments, the consciousness spawned its own force for protection. Each was born from the planet's volcanoes, mountains, dust, trees, and vines. All elements awakened to join creations of the planet's consciousness. As the consciousness was unsure of the beast's intentions, it observes these beasts waiting while creating. At first, the beast takes flight and explores the lands. The beast itself has no other intentions other than the enjoyment of the freedoms in the light. Enjoying all the light has to offer, the beast flies with the freedom of the wind, its wings as strong as a passing hurricane. Destruction was not intended, but behind was evidence of the strength in each flapping wing. Each whipped movement of its tail leaving large deep crevasses, scorching trails and valleys with its very passing. An unintended destruction of long-standing mountains begins to spawn fear into all in its path. An emotion never felt before this day, a day when change took place. The event that came to be named the Great Aragonite Event caused the emergence of a beast dubbed the Great Beast Adixicians. Even this name would change with time, consumption, and evolution. After some time of flying, the beast grew athirst. Adixicians came down, landing by a stream of flowing water. The river's waters and the lands below shake in a quake as the massive beast takes to land, taking a moment to rest and be hydrated as the beast begins drinking from the river stream. However, the waters drank did not quench Adixician's thirst. It seemed the more that was drank, the more the thirst would grow. The great beast Adixicians, growing frustrated, a deep warmth of rage began to build deep within. A burning desire building deep within. The great beast Adixicians feels the hottest rays of light exploding fire within, rumbling, churning, slowly coming up from the belly and then up into the throat. The beast lets out a scream of anger. Maha! The burst coming from its mouth was hot spewing lava, a stream of burning fire. Ra-ha-ha! Crying out, spewing lava from the belly up through the chest and out the mouth. Fire covers all directly in its path. Soon everything ignited into burning flames. The trees cry out with whistling pain, boiling bark and trunks turn to flame. Each burning branch giving off a black smog the beast can't help but to consume. The beast breathing in the life force of that of which it had lit a light. Its thirst not quenched. More smog it was lusting, craving more. From its evolution, this was the only way life could be sustained. Detection across all lands of the incoming great beast Adixicians. The day of the Great Aragonite Event had begun. A reign of terror, burning all for consumption without remorse. Its hunger was greater. The consciousness that connected all felt the pain of all things burning and began to construct a means of defense, a way to communicate or eradicate, to conclude a beast that does not know what it does, or a beast with intention of our annihilation. The consciousness, the connection to all things, felt the pain of lands burning, trees burnt and smoked, bushes, shrubs, flowers, valleys burning for this beast to consume. With great haste and a powerful force, the consciousness that connected all had created 4 creatures in the same image of the great beast Adixicians, to meet its size, to match its strength, to stop the death that is happening. From deep under the surface of the planet, the first beast born in creation for the planet's protection from underdirt and soil. The elements of earth gathered in collection, first stone and trees alike, all intermingle to form a giant, humongous beast of sticks and stone. The next earthly beast to be created takes its form from all elements of water. Calcified ice that is as hard as bone takes to the skies above, shimmering in the sunlight. The third beast to spawn was made from pure light. Light concentrated into a formation, looking much like the beast itself. The fourth and final beast is one made from the very breath of the planet itself, an old relative of the beast, the element of wind, cold, and hot air mixed into a storm, and takes the form in an imitating shape of the beast it is about to confront. The lands burnt by the great beast came to give it the name Addiction. Adixicians had passed, and addiction had taken its place. Burning for consumption, addiction was not one to compromise, for the hunger was greater than any other desire. So the 5 enormous beasts collided and locked into battle for thousands of years. Each beast smashed and clashed, each collision leaving raining elements falling to the earth below. With each element fallen, new gardens of green, valleys of ice, dirt mounds formed as the beasts battled. New formations grow into mountains, reforming the ground below.